Thank you, guys, and thank you for asking me to be here for speaking to y'all. I am Yoli Clayton. I'm the owner of True Brew. My husband and I own it. Again, who's been to True Brew? What? Holler out a drink. What's your favorite drink? Or frap? Or what's yours? The KD10. Yeah. What about any fraps? Anybody like fraps? What do you like? The cookies and cream one. That's one of our most popular ones. So we opened in 2020, it was right in the heart of the pandemic, and we're going on our third year being opened. When I was your age, 7th, 8th grade, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but funny thing, I knew I didn't want to do anything that involved public speaking. So here I am. But I graduated high school. I went to Hobbs and graduated, went to college, and started pursuing teaching. And got pretty about 2 years in, and then realized there's a lot of speaking and teaching, and I just wanted something a little bit different. So I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no idea. I was still taking college courses. I still, was trying to gear towards something towards teaching in that realm. And I met with a counselor, and he said, "You got to pick something. You're coming to the end of it. What do you want to do?" And I said, "I don't know. I don't know what I want to do." And he gave me some options, and he mentioned an X-ray tech. And I thought, okay, that sounds like something I could do. And he laid out the plans. I went to school at Eastern. I got prerequisites, and then all I had to do was get accepted into the program, which only took 12 students, and it was in Clovis, at Clovis Community College. So I applied, and I got in, and I became an X-ray tech. And I got married, had a family. My husband was a state cop, and we both worked shift work. I worked at the Hobbs Hospital, and he worked for the state, so did that for years, and then I realized I don't want to do this. Shift work is hard, especially when you're trying to raise a family. And my husband and I had talked about, what about a drink shop? We really like coffee. We like to drink coffee, and I'm a tea drinker, a big tea drinker, and tossed it around, but we did not know anything about business, small business. We didn't know anything about starting one, or honestly, we didn't know anything about a coffee shop, what we had to do to own one or start one. It took us about, I want to say 2 years from planning, from just conversation to serious conversation. This is what we want to do. This is what we want it to look like. This is what, this is what we want it to be. And so 2 years of planning, we start getting ready to meet with an investor. That's someone who gives you the money for your business. And it is on loan, and you pay it back. So we were getting ready, and then the oil field crashed, and that was a hard time. I mean, us living in this area, we know when the oil field crashes, it's tough. Things are tough. Resources are very restricted. And so we thought, well, we're not quitting our day jobs. We're just going to continue doing what we're doing, and we'll squash the dream. So we continued in our professions, and my husband got close to retirement in his. And at this time, I switched from the hospital, and I was working at Hobbs Open MRI. I was an MRI tech, and still the shift work. So my brother-in-law owns an oil field business, and he asked, "Hey, do you want to be a receptionist there? I'm needing someone." And then he asked my husband, "Do you want to be a safety guy?" And we thought, yep, it'll bring us back to Lovington around the clock. We can be here for our kids. And we did that, and then started having the conversation again, like, what about a drink shop? What about a drink shop? It had been 7 years since our initial plans. And so we started again. We just started the dream again. And from the day we planned, we started like seeking the funding, and you have to do a business plan. A business plan is, what is your shop going to be? What is your business going to be? Who are you planning to reach? Who are you, who's your demographic? Where are you at? Where are you planning to get established? What are you serving? We did all those things. And then, so from the time the conversation happened until the time True Brew opened, it was another 4.5, almost 5 years. So it wasn't a fast dream by any means. There was a lot of preparation. There was a lot of conversations. There was a lot of just planning, dreaming, visualizing, and then getting things in motion. It was a difficult process because, full disclosure, I hated math in school, hated it. I was not good at it. I was really bad at math. Got to college, still hated math, still not good at math. And I didn't need very much, thank goodness. I didn't need very much math to get into x-ray, but still needed some. And I was thinking, there's no way, I can't do math, I don't like math. But fortunately for me, my husband was good at math. So there's a lot of math involved in that. You have to crunch numbers, you have to propose amounts, you have to guess what you think you're gonna make a year and build off that. And so we went to coffee school. Yes, that is a real thing. We went to coffee school in Dallas, and we spent 3 grueling days drinking a lot of coffee, a whole lot of coffee, finding out where coffee comes from, finding out how to take care of coffee, finding out how to reach your people and what they like and what they are expecting when they order these fancy drinks. And so we went to coffee school. We met with our investors. We got financed for our project and started the building, and then COVID happened and we got shut down. Our building kind of stalled because it was, as you all know, COVID was a crazy time, not much happening, a lot of people staying home. So that took longer, but when we finally opened the doors at True Brew, COVID ended up being a blessing to us because we had a drive-through and we were able to stay open and operate because we had a drive-through. Not only that, we were able to have employees because y'all were doing online. And so our employees were high school kids that got to work all day with us because they would do online in the evenings, mornings, and then work a full shift. So it was a blessing. It was hard, but it was a blessing. And that's how we started. That's how we got established. Our day-to-day challenges, though, from a coffee drinker and a tea drinker, if you've been to True Brew, that's really the least of what we sell. Fraps, energy drinks, that's our thing. Well, neither one of us are frap or energy drink people, so that was a challenge. But based off our employees, our high school employees, they were able to get us going. All your drink creations, KD10, Malibu, all of those are the high school employees. They are like, let's try this, let's do this, and I was like, let's do it, that's great. And I don't drink Red Bull, but I think they scored some hits because they're pretty popular. And then Fraps, huge. It's a huge seller. And once again, that was our high school employees. And so we knew when we opened this business, we were going to have to take outside influence. We knew we were going to have to hear our employees out. We were going to have to take opinions from people who weren't us, because we were providing products we didn't partake in. We, were coffee and tea people. And our promotions, our social media presence, all of that you don't really consider when you're opening a shop, but then when you're established, you're like, oh gosh, we have to be on social media, we have to have promotions, we have to have features, we have to bring in new things, we have to see what's working, what's not working. We've had some misses. I mean, we've had some things we've served that people were like, that's not good. And you don't want too many of those. So it took a lot of input, a lot of friends, family, our employees. It took a lot of input to get our products. What we're serving you today, it took a lot of input to get that on the menu, because you have to figure out what sells, what doesn't, what is your community like, what don't they like. At our Texas coffee school, our instructor said, I don't think you're going to be able to do this. I don't see how you're going to be able to push out so many drinks. And people want natural. They want homemade syrups. They want, he said, to make a syrup, it has to sit there for a while. You can't just put it together and serve it in a drink. And but we knew our area, and we were convinced. We knew it would work. That we knew we we could figure out how to do it and serve the drink to make the customers want it and want to purchase it. And it just really depends on your area, because he couldn't see it for his area, but we knew in our area it would work. So that's it. That's True Brew. That's how we were born. That's how we were thought up, and that's how we are today. It's a lot of input and a lot of customer and employee and family and friends interaction to get it to what it is today. And it's not easy. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, but it also is the most enjoyable thing I've ever done. Being a small business owner, you get so much love and support from your community. Our customers are great. Our employees are great. We have been very fortunate. We don't get people who are crude and rude, and it seems like our customers really want to make us better, and so they give us the benefit of the doubt, and they come to us and tell us this is what we see going on, and it's been the most enjoyable thing. I love owning True Brew. I do. And I love our customers. I love our community. We have an awesome community, y'all. For a small business owner, we have a phenomenal community. That's it. Do you want me to do questions, or?
Anybody have some questions for Ms. Clayton?
Yes.
What do you rate your job now, the 1 to 10 on a scale?
What would I rate it? On hard level, I would say it's a 15. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. On enjoyment, on fulfillment, it's definitely a 10. I love it. I did like being an X-ray tech. That has its own rewards. Helping people, it's a big part of helping people. Being an X-ray tech is you're in your community the same. You get to it's a little bit more than taking X-rays of people. You are in procedures with them. You're holding their hands through the tough stuff. You are, if there's a crisis, you're there taking pictures, but you also got to get them to feel comfortable. So that has rewards. This is on a totally different level, as in I'm part of something here. I'm part of. We're an established business. We're part of the community. I can't even begin to tell you how many people say, "Oh, you're True Brew. You're the True Brew person. You're the True Brew girl." That makes me feel so good, because people know us. They know we're here, and it's definitely very fulfilling. But the hardest thing I've ever done, and I have 4 kids. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. Yes.
Did you know that you was going to be doing this job when you was at your age?
I did not. If anyone would have told me at your age that I was going to be a small business owner, I wouldn't have thought that. I don't know that I would have had enough faith in myself to say, oh yeah, I could do that, just because I didn't have it all figured out. I didn't know. I didn't know what I wanted to do at your age. I was tossing back and forth. I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. At some point, I probably did want to be a ballerina, because I wasn't ruling anything out, but I didn't feel passionately about things at that age. I was just kind of undecided, very undecided on what I would have. And that's kind of scary. I don't know if anyone feels like that, but you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't. I even graduated high school, and I didn't feel like I had it figured out. But it comes. It falls into place where it needed to be. Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about your employees? Like how many people do you have hired?
Sure.
What kind of opportunities there are for maybe high school students later on?
Okay.
If they wanted to get a little taste of that scenario.
Okay, so we have 23 employees. Because our hours are pretty limited, it makes it hard to have a high school job because of our hours. We are 6 to 6 on Monday through Friday, and on Saturday we are 8 to 4. Well, it just seems like, you're getting off like around 3:10, and then by the time you get home and stuff, that doesn't leave you very much. So our employee base of high schoolers is our smallest one. Their shifts usually Monday through Friday are 4 to 7. Because we close at 6, but they do have to stay and clean up the shop and get it ready. I think, from what I've heard, they love doing it. It's fun. There's a lot of interaction. There's a lot of input. If you're an employee of True Brew, you can go in and have an opinion and it's validated. We will take your opinions. And we're constantly trying new stuff. There's stuff that I'm telling them, that's never gonna work. That's not gonna work. In fact, one example is our True Blue. It's a coconut, a blue coconut Dr. Pepper with cream. And I was like, guys, that's not gonna work. And it's huge. You guys love that. It's huge, but I wouldn't have put that on the menu, but they're like, just do it. It's great, just do it. And they were right, it's great. But so our employees have a lot of input in our menu. They have a lot of input in our day-to-day operations, whereas what's working, what's not working. When we first started, we were getting so backed up, and our drive-through is not very long. If you put 5 cars in our drive-through, you're already to the street. And we were pretty worried about that because we didn't want the police, because that puts us in a major street. We don't want the police to come and say, you got to move these cars. So it was a high school employee she's like, I got an idea. I'm going to take my phone and I'm going to go take outside orders. And then I'm going to put us all in a group text. And then we're going to, that's how we're going to figure out, and we're going to get these people through. And I was like, you think that'll work? And she was like, I'm just going to try it. And it works. And to this day, we utilize that. Not only that, to this day, I've seen other places utilize that weren't doing that before. And that's all it is. It's a group text. We just have one group text going to get customers through the line. You know, we definitely love employees that are energized and that can think on their feet, because there are things we don't know, we don't have all the answers. We're only 3 years old. There are things we're figuring out day to day. We love that our employees are like, try this, try that, let's do this. The employee who started the text we wouldn't have known to try that. We wouldn't have known to do that. But you get a lot of customer interaction. It's hard too, guys, because you'll deal with people who are not in the best of moods, who are not having a great day, but yet you're expected to still go and smile and say, how can I help you? And so that is hard. I don't want to play that down, because that definitely is tough. It's tough for our employees to deal with that, especially when you're having a great day and then someone just comes and rains on your parade for whatever reason. But you know, they do get a lot of input, and they do get customer service. And we have like a system built up that if someone is dealing with a tough customer, then we give them grace and tell them, you know, like go take a walk around the block or something, shake it off, and then we'll, you know, not make them get right in the public side again. We definitely want to look out for our employees, because they are the face of True Brew. They are the people that you see and that you interact with daily. Our high school employees, you just have to be able to work 4 to 7, Monday through Friday. And then of course on Saturdays, they do different shifts. They do like a morning shift, which could be 7 to 11 or 7 to 12 or 8 to 12. And then our next shift is 12 to close, which is 12 to 5. What we do realize is that academics is like extracurricular activities. That's a lot of times hard for employees. Like we have some football players right now that haven't worked in a long time because of practice. We have band members that they just completed their marching season, so they're coming back, but they didn't work a whole lot during the fall season either because of extracurricular activities. So there's definitely some challenges if you're wanting to work there, because we aren't open that long. Where other places, you probably have a better chance of working because you can do your thing and then you can get to work and still have plenty of time to get hours. But our employees, they make tips. They make really good tips. We have a generous community, a very generous community. We have contests all the time. We had a Red Bull contest, and our employees all got to be on a team, and they created the Red Bulls, and then whoever sold the most, like their team all got gift cards, like Visa gift cards. We're trying to keep it fun because customer service is hard. Customer service is challenging, and it can wear you down. It can drain you. So we try to keep it fun, and we try to keep it lively so no one gets wore out. But yeah, we do have high school kids there. We also have college kids there that they can do a lot more once they get the flexibility of their schedules. You just have to be 16. We hire at 16, And then we have a food handlers course. The state of New Mexico requires our employees to have it when you're dealing with food. We don't have a lot of food there, but because we do have some, the state requires them. And it's just a quick test online. I haven't had any employees that have had issues with that, but they just take that and then they're ready to go. Yes.
I actually have 2 questions.
Okay.
Number 1, what kind of initial investment were you looking at from out of pocket for you to get it started? And number 2, have you thought about opening a second location somewhere?
Okay, those are great questions. The first one, so we knew to start up, we had to have about $30,000 to start up. That was probably our biggest challenge because we didn't have that. I mean, we could if we had to budget for it and plan for it because we were, police officer and an MRI tech, we made decent money, but 30,000 just seemed like really far for us. But we knew that we had to do that to get started. So it took budgeting, saving, cutting costs. Like we figured out where we could cut, where we could save, where we could. We sold a car, and just instead of using all of that money for a new purchase, we bought something a little less and then had money left over from that. So it takes a lot of planning because I don't know what anyone's number. I mean, that's not a set fee. That's not everybody who starts a business $30,000. That was just based on the money we were looking to borrow because we wanted to build. We want to build a building, a brick and mortar place, and so we had to. That was the number that the bank told us. Like you have to have this much to get started, and then we will give you the rest. Well, and I'm thankful we did have the years because it took every bit of that to get that money saved up. It took every bit of that money to every bit of those years before we got established to get that money saved up to where we could say, we have it, now can we have a business loan? And when we went to coffee school, it wasn't all just coffee, and that was the blessing in it is it told us this is what your day-to-day is going to look like. This is what this guy was a numbers guy. Now, he was a math guy. He was a big math guy. He told us you're going to have to plan for either a payment, a mortgage, or you're going to have to plan for rent. You're going to have to plan for inventory, labor. You have to figure out how many employees you want, and then taxes. Y'all, there's so many taxes in owning a business. There's a lot, which we didn't think of. And going to this school, you realize, oh, okay, yeah, we do have taxes. We are going to have to pay all this stuff. So that school was not only just for coffee, but it taught us day to day. Like this is how you balance, your daily checkbook. It's so much bigger than a checkbook because it's a business account, but basically a checkbook. This is how you plan on your money coming in, your money going out. This is how you figure, are you going to add enough? Are you going to generate enough revenue? Are you going to make enough money to start your second one? Because that was plan 2. He said you open your doors. Plan 2 is you build, you add on, you do another business. And then he said plan 2 looks differently for people. Plan 2 is you could either become a roaster, and that means you get your own beans from Guatemala or Cuba or all those places, and you become a roaster. Or if you don't want to do that, then you open another business. You open a part 2 of your business. And we have talked about it, and we've had several people reach out and ask us about True Brew 2. We're just wrapping our mind around True Brew 1, y'all. I don't know. There's so many of our shops. I mean, as you know, we're so much more than just coffee. We're energy drinks. We are fraps. We're smoothies. We're so much more than coffee. So, and if you've been to Hobbs, there's a ton of those businesses, a ton. So I don't know. We've kicked it back and forth. But since then, my husband's got another job, so he left me to run this business by myself. I don't know. I'm not saying no, but I'm saying it's definitely, I'm a little wore out from thinking about possibly opening a second one. Not impossible, but not yet. Yes.
How old are
16. You have to be 16 to work there. Yeah. Yes.
Do you enjoy your job?
I do. I love it. The employees are funny. They are, they're so funny. There are days that it's tough because I do the paperwork side of it too. I have an accountant, and she handles like my quarterly taxes, but I'm also the bookkeeper. Funny, half a girl who doesn't like math, I'm my daily bookkeeper. But and the funny thing about that is when I became the secretary for my brother-in-law, his oil field business, that's what I did. I did his bookkeeping. And I told him, are you sure? I'm really bad at math. And he's like, no, it's fine. You're going to get it. And he trained me. His wife trained me. And she was awesome and patient with me. And then I learned it. And thank God I did, because now I do the bookkeeping for Trooper. I do the everyday bookkeeping, and it's a lot of math. But sometimes that's hard because I want to be in the shop. I want to be working and making drinks. And there's days it's hard. The bookkeeping is so much. There's so much to it. And then I'll get in the shop and it's just fun. And everyone's having fun and they're cutting up and it's a great time. And so, yeah, I do. I love the employees. They make it so worthwhile. They're a crazy group of people. They're so fun. But I do love my job. Yes?
What are some things you don't like about your job?
I don't like the paperwork. I don't like the math. I don't like that. I don't like the taxes. There's a lot of taxes. And the challenges I don't like are, y'all know social media is great. For a small business, social media is fantastic. But social media also cannot be your friend. I wish that if people had a complaint, they wouldn't go straight to social media, because if they go straight to social media, that means people are going to be like, oh yeah, Trooper's awful, you're right, they're awful. But that doesn't give us a chance to fix something. If we did something wrong, my wish is that everybody would take it to us first and at least let us try to fix it. Like if we got your order wrong, if we messed up, if we did something that you didn't like, my wish is that everybody would come to us first and give us the chance to make it right. Because then if you gave us a chance and we still didn't make it right, then by all means go to social media. But a lot of times social media is unforgiving. People will go straight to social media, and other people, it's such a big influencer. It influences your community, it influences people, and people around you will join in on that and not give you the benefit of the doubt and become critics, when really if you just would have came to us first, I guarantee we would have made it right. We would have done everything we could have to make it right. So I don't like that part of social media, but I do love social media because it's great for business. It is. It's word of mouth. It gets you out there, and it does more work for you than I could do as a single person myself. Anything else?
We have time for one more, probably.
Yes.
How much do you pay for weekly?
So when we started out, we did. We have different rates depending on your position. We have managers, we have shift managers, we have people who work. Our 11 to 4 shift is a little harder to come by. It is because it's right in the heart of our shift, and so it's hard to get people, so we pay more for that shift. If you work on our 11 to 4 shift, you get paid more. But we started out at $9. Well, minimum wage has moved twice since there. And the reason we could do that is because we pay tips too. And between tips, by the time the employee gets the tips and gets the hourly rate, they're well above minimum wage, which at the time was, I think it was like 7 something. But now minimum wage is $12. It's been raised twice since we've been open. So the lowest we'll pay someone is $10.75, and right now we have managers making $14 an hour, and then everybody makes tips. So you get card tips and cash tips, and I would say my $10.75 an hour employees average about $15 to $16 an hour with tips, because tips are that good. The people are so generous. Now obviously, because times are getting harder, things are getting more expensive. That might affect how people tip, and understandably so. So people won't, they'll be more on conserving and not tipping, well, if that happens, then you know, Truber will have to substitute and supplement for that and put in the money to bring them to $12 an hour. But as of now, they're still holding really well and doing good, and people are still being really generous. So yeah, our employees, even the ones that make $10.75, they average about $15 to $16 an hour by the time you factor in that. Yeah, those are great questions.
Well, thank you so
Yes,
much for being
thank
here and taking
you.
your time out of your day to be here.
Thank you.
And share your story.
Thank
with our
you.
kiddos.
Thank you.
You guys were really good.
Yes.
What do you tell Miss Clayton? Let's give her a round
Thank
of applause.
you. Thank you.